We have few. Let's pick up where we left off on Friday. I believe it's Act 3, Scene 2, page 1208. I think we actually got to 1209. On 1208, beginning 42 or so, Oberon mentions when Demetrius and Hermia come in. Oberon mentions this is the Athenian youth, that is the one who wanted Puck to put the juice in his eyes. And Puck says, this is the woman, but this is not the man. That is, it's the woman that he saw earlier, but it's not the same guy. Okay? So Demetrius and Hermia come in and go back and forth. So let's do this again. Oh, let's go all grade school. Hermia loves Lysander. At the beginning, Demetrius loves Hermia. No. Do this first. Lysander loves Hermia. Demetrius loves Hermia. And Helena loves Demetrius. Which becomes, that stays the same. This is after the love juice. Lysander loves Hermia. After the initial love juice. And then that stays the same. So when the play opens, Hermia loves Lysander, Lysander loves Hermia, Demetrius loves Hermia, Helena loves Demetrius. After the initial drops, Hermia still loves Lysander, but Lysander now loves Hermia, Demetrius still loves Hermia, and Helena still loves Demetrius. Okay? So things are getting all kind of cockeyed. Hermia leaves, page 1209, just after line 80. And Demetrius grows sleepy, lies down, falls asleep. Oberon comes forth. What hast thou done? Thou hast mistaken quite and laid the love juice on some true love's sight. Okay? Of thy misprision must perforce ensue. Notice your gloss there, misprision, mistake. Okay. Lost my place. Must perforce ensue some true love turned and not a false turned true. So, why is that important? Or, let me put that another way. What seemingly is important to Oberon?
True love is followed.
True love is followed and fulfilled. Remember Hermia and Lysander's comments when they were alone on stage after everybody else had left, and Lysander suggested, that we go off to the wood. What did they talk about? True love. And they said the course of true love, what? never did run true. It's always crossed in some way. So Oberon is trying to uncross it. He's trying to make sure it does run true. Okay? So he says, these two have real love. All right? It's not just lust, it's real love. And he says, he's suggesting that these two should have real love. He wants to put the juice on Demetrius's eyes because character, not Theseus, Oberon is suggesting that the love that they had, let's say at the beginning of the play, or before Demetrius fell for Hermia, was also real. So, then fate o'errules that one man holding troth, that is faith, etc., a million fail, confounding oath on oath. So, Puck suggests it's how it must be. I have no control. Fate, notice, overrules. Why doesn't Puck take responsibility for his actions? Did Puck intend for this all to happen? No. He followed Oberon's orders, okay? So Oberon tells Puck, and I know we discussed this the other day, go find Helena of Athens, bring her here. Notice she is all fancy sick. She is and pale of cheer. Your gloss, 95. Love sick. She's acting the way she is acting by calling herself, for example, Demetrius' spaniel, because she suffers from, as I mentioned the other day, that actual Renaissance medical diagnosis of love sickness. All right? Bring her here, he says, and I'll charm his eyes, Demetrius' eyes, against she do appear, so that when he opens his eyes, he'll see Helena in love, as we're going to find out later, the language that is going to be used, as he ought to love. So, Puck goes around, and Oberon applies the juice to Demetrius' eyes. Puck comes back in. He brings Helena, captain of our fairy band, line 110, on page 1210. Captain of our fairy band, Helena is here at hand. And the youth mistook by me, it wasn't intentional, pleading for a lover's fee. Shall we their fond pageant see? A pageant is kind of like a play, but it's going to be a little ostentatious and a little over the top. And he calls it fond. When we use the word fond, what do we mean?
You like something?
Pardon?
You like something.
You like something. Here it doesn't mean that. It means foolish. Okay? We're going to have the lines later on by Puck. Oh, what fools these lovers be. Okay? So, shall we their fond pageant see? In fact, it's right there. Lord, what fools these mortals be. Stand aside, the noise they make will cause Demetrius to awake. Then will two at once woo one. That must needs be sport alone. And those things do best please me that befall preposterously. Preposterously. Out of the natural order. Out of reason. Okay? Remember, everything in the wood, chaos, anti-civilization, anti-order and such. So Lysander and Helena come in. Lysander, why should you think that I should woo and scorn? Why do you think that I'm courting you, so to speak, in scorn? Sarcastically or mockingly. Why don't you believe me? She says. Scorn and derision never come in tears. He's saying, I have tears. Okay? When we get to poetry, we'll talk about an Italian poet named Petrarch. who created what is called the sonnet form. Okay? Petrarch fell in love with this woman named Laura. He was already married. He didn't go have an adulterous affair or anything like that. He just kind of mentally, if you want, loved her from afar. But he wrote a series of sonnets to, for, and about her. And in those sonnets, he described kind of the lovesick lover. Today we call that person, or that kind of character in a poem, a Petrarchan lover, named after him. And this is the guy who, he looks at his beloved, she smiles, and tears just run down his face. And if she doesn't smile, he's filled with horror and, sorrow and such. Okay? And until he achieves his goal, his quest of her love being returned, he sighs, he mourns, he doesn't dress properly. It'd be like if I came in and my buttons were all messed up and, and in the Renaissance, your hose not tied properly, your cuffs not tied properly, your hat not on you. All those were indications of lovesickness. All right? So, he says, look, when I vow, I weep. When I make an oath, when I promise, I weep. And vows so born, that is, vows born in this way, created in this way, in their nativity all truth appears. That is, vows that are uttered with tears are true, are real. Leave actors aside for a moment. How can these things in me seem scorn to you? Bearing the badge of faith to prove them true. Got a gloss down there for the badge of faith. Identifying device such as that worn on the servant's livery. Like, the King of England, if he was to wear, the full uniform, you'd see a lion and a dragon on it. Okay, because that's part of the insignia. So the insignia of love, therefore, is what? Tears, sighs, until that love is achieved. You do advance, that is, you argue, you use rhetoric. You're cunning more and more when truth kills truth, O devilish holy fray. These vows, the vows you're telling me, those are for Hermia. Why? What condition, ideology, let's say, is she operating under? Why'd they go to the wood in the first place?
To run away together.
For Hermia and Lysander to run off and get married. She thinks that's still why they are there. She doesn't know about any love juice in his eyes. Will you give her over? Modern language. You gonna throw her under the bus? You gonna throw her out the window? Are you done with Hermia? Weigh oath with oath. That is, weigh your oath with me with your oath to Hermia. Almost said Hermia. And you will nothing weigh. Okay, let me take you at face value for a moment. She says, Lysander, you promised nothing but everything to Hermia. Now you're promising nothing but everything to me. What are his oaths worth? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, she says. Your vows to her and me put into scales will even weigh, and both as light as tails. That is, they have no significance. Now notice the danger here. She is suggesting, Lysander, you're a lying piece of, you're a lying SOB. Now I know what your vows really mean. She's saying what? All you want is sex. That's it. Your vows aren't true. Were his vows true at the beginning of the play? My own belief, yes, they were. Okay? Remember also, what else is Helena dealing with at this point? Someone already swore oaths and vows to her. Demetrius. And look how he's behaving. Lysander, I had no judgment when to her I swore. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean those oaths to her. I wasn't thinking in my right mind. Nor none in mine, now you give her over. And where's your right mind now? Demetrius loves her. He does not you. Let Demetrius love her, he's saying. And Demetrius wakes up. Oh, Helen, sweet, goddess, nymph, perfect, divine. To what, my love, shall I compare thine eyne? Okay, eye's got a rhyme with divine. Eyne actually is the old actual plural for eyes. Okay, crystal is muddy. That is, clear crystal is muddy compared to Helena's eyes. He's saying, you're more beautiful than beauty itself. Thy lips, those kissing cherries, tempting grow. And what he's doing is he's starting to report what is called a blazon, which is the categorying, that's not the word I want, categorizing, that's the word I want, of the beloved's beauties. If you read, I posted, and I think I emailed, 3 sonnets to you, or links to them. If you read Shakespeare's Sonnet 130, My Mistress' Eyes Are Nothing Like the Sun, what he does in that sonnet is he creates an anti-blazon. He gives examples of what is not considered beautiful in the Elizabethan period. And he's doing that essentially to show my lover, my beloved, is real. The speaker in the sonnet, not Shakespeare himself. The speaker in the sonnets is saying, my beloved is real. Why? Because all these other women, all these other Petrarchan beloveds, okay, that are described in poetry, they're described in such terms that they're not real. They're images, and that's all. So, he's using these images, these Petrarchan images. Your eyes are clear as crystal. Your lips, they're like cherries, you know. That pure congealed white, high Taurus' snow, fanned with the eastern wind, turns to a crow when thou holdest up thy hand. Let me kiss this princess of pure white, this seal of bliss. And also that's probably indicating her complexion. She's very white. She doesn't have a tan. In Shakespeare's day, for a man or woman to have a tan indicated one thing, really. Let me rephrase that. How do I rephrase that? Leave men aside for a moment. For women to have a tan pretty much indicated one thing. They spend a lot of their time outside during the day, in the sun. Well, how do you spend a lot of time outside during the day, in the sun? Other than if you're a farmer or peasant. You spend a lot of time on the streets. Streetwalker. You're a hooker. Prostitute. Okay? Prostitutes were the ones that were, you know, a little more unwhite than what was termed the classical beauty. So when he calls her this princess of pure white, he's saying you are the model of beauty. Helena, O spite, O hell, I see you all are bent to set against me for your merriment. Now, she expects Demetrius to pull a stunt like this. Why?
Because he has before.
How else do you show that you really don't love someone after telling them, I really, 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 really don't love you, and then somebody else does fall in love with that person? I mean, you make fun of her. And that's what she thinks he's doing. That he's just doing what Lysander's doing. Where's Hermia in all this? Where does she think Hermia is in all this? Well, that's going to come up. If you were civil and knew courtesy, You would not do me thus much injury. Can you not hate me as I know you do? But you must join in souls to mock me too. Isn't it enough that you hate me? But now you've got to, what? Tear me down. She says, if you were men, as men you are in show. In show. You appear to be men. What does she mean by the first men? She uses the word twice. If you were men, one use, as men you are in show. I think the first men kind of refers to gentlemen, but you appear to be men, that is, you're just modern kind of idea, pigs, men, all right? In other words, you have men parts, but you don't act like a real man acts. Lost my place. You would not use a gentle lady so. If you were real men, you would act like gentlemen. To vow and swear and super praise my parts. That is, super praise. I'm not worth what you're saying. I don't fit the language you're using. I'm not that beautiful. Notice that implies, in my construction, that she is beautiful. When I am sure you hate me with your hurts. You both are rivals and love Hermia, and now both rivals to mock Helena? A trend to exploit a manly enterprise, to conjure tears up in a poor maid's eyes with your derision. Oh, well done, you mighty men, you. To what? To make me cry. Lysander, you are unkind, Demetrius. Why does Lysander say that? Who, from Lysander's perspective, did Demetrius love 5 minutes ago? Hermia. Who else loved Hermia 5 minutes ago? Lysander. And now you can have Hermia, because I see, clearly now. And here with goodwill with all my heart, and Hermia's love I yield up take her. She's all yours. Her father loves you better than me, Never did mockers waste more idle breath. Why? Mockers and idle breath. Those who mock, Helena is saying, all who mock are wasting their lives, their air. Yes?
We're still on 12:11, right?
Yes, we're still on 12:11. Haven't turned the page yet, okay? So, Lysander says, keep your Hermia, I will none. That is, I desire none of her. I don't want her, okay? Hermia comes in. Dark night that from the eye his function takes. Turn the page, 12:12. The ear more quick of apprehension makes. Wherein it doth impair the seeing sense, it pays the hearing double recompense. That's fancy language to say what? If you're in a room and it's dark, not dark enough, you can't see anything, right? So what tends to kick in? Your hearing. You start to hear things you didn't hear when you could see everything. Thou art not by mine eye, Lysander found. Mine ear, I think it brought me to thy sound. I didn't see you, Lysander, but I heard your voice, and I followed it through the wood. But why unkindly didst thou leave me so? Right? You were supposed to sleep here. I was going to sleep here. And you told me, what? That she would have his loyalty for how long? Till death. Why should he stay? Notice, he doesn't say, why should I stay? He says, why should he stay, whom love doth press to go? Press there is a military term. In England, ship's commanders, for example, naval ship's commanders, were often given, a document that allowed them to go into pubs, go into towns. They would, pull in a port or something, and they would send out gangs of men from the ship, sailors, that would go into town, go into pubs, find men who were drunk, and press them into service. That's what the pressing means there. Whether you wanted to or not. We think of that as kidnapping. Okay? They could also go into prisons. It's a way to get your prison sentence reduced. It's also a good way to die in Renaissance and later naval battles. So he says, what love could press Lysander from? Why should he stay whom love doth press to go? He says, love took hold of me and made me leave you. What love could press Lysander from my side? Here's a problem. He wasn't at her side, was he? Lysander was the one who said, one bed can serve us both, two bosoms, one heart, one faith, Lysander's love that would not let him bide. What does bide mean? Wait, to spend time. That would not let him bide, fair Helena, who more engilds the night. In gilds, you got a gloss. In goldens. Helena, he says, brings light to the night. Then all yon fiery O's and eyes of light. Why do you see, and notice now he uses a first person pronoun. Why seekst thou me? Up until this point, in talking with Hermia, he uses third person to talk about himself. Could not this make thee know the hate I bear thee made me leave thee so? So now he makes it clear. I don't love you anymore. That's why I left you. You speak not as you think. It cannot be. You can't. No. You're not saying what you really believe. She is one. What does Helena assume? She's in on this joke. Helena, notice, has some wrong thinking, right? Because who shouldn't be there in the wood? Demetrius shouldn't be there. And in one sense, Helena shouldn't be there. Okay? It would be one thing if Lysander and Hermia pulled this trick on her. She is one of this confederacy. Now I perceive they have conjoined all three to fashion this false sport in spite of me. That's kind of suggesting that after she told Demetrius, Demetrius went to Hermia and Lysander, and the three of them agreed together at that point to do this to Helena. Why would Lysander and Demetrius at that point do anything working together when they both love the same woman? It doesn't make sense. Okay? Injurious Hermia, most ungrateful maid, have you conspired, have you with these contrived to bait me? And she goes on, and what does she talk about? We used to be best friends. We shared the bed together. Nothing sexual there. So we grew together like to a double cherry, singing part of blah, blah, blah. Hermia, I scorn you not. It seems that you scorn me. Have you not set Lysander as in scorn to follow me and praise my eyes and face, and made your other love Demetrius, who even but now did spurn me with his foot? What does that mean? It has two possible meanings. He spurned her, ran away with his feet, or he kicked her with his feet. To call me goddess, nymph, divine and rare, precious, celestial? Hermia's flabbergasted. She has no idea what she's talking about. Did she hear Demetrius say any of that? Nope, she was not on the stage at that point. I do persever, counterfeit sad looks. Pretend sad looks. Make mouths upon me when I turn my back. That is, she turns her back to them and they kind of mouth words to each other. Wink each at other, hold the sweet jest up. This sport, well carried, shall be chronicled. Somebody will write it down. Somebody will make fun of me in the future. If you have any pity, grace, or manners, you would not make me such an argument. We got a gloss down there for argument. But fare you well, 'tis partly my own fault. What's partly her own fault?
Falling for the joke.
Okay, what else?
All the chaos.
Keep going.
Like, it's her fault that she's in the woods.
None of this would have happened if she had not. Man, none of this would have happened had she not told Demetrius. Because who would be in the woods? Just Lysander and Hermia. Okay? So notice what she says. 'Tis partly my own fault, which death or absence soon shall remedy. Now, that's kind of foreboding, right? Death or absence. Well, absence is easy. She just leaves them. Death, a little bit more permanent than just absence. Stay gentle, Helena. Hear my excuse. Okay, we're right in the middle of the play. If we were thinking of this kind of diagram, we're here. It could become a tragedy very quickly. Helena goes off stage, and we're in the midst of a tragedy. So, stay gentle, Helena. Hear my excuse, my love, my life, my soul, fair Helena. Oh, excellent. She doesn't mean, oh, finally, Lysander, my real true love. No, she's just like, man, he just keep playing this up. Hermia, sweet, do not scorn her so. Hermia now kind of thinks what Helena said. Don't heap it on. If she cannot entreat, I can compel. Thou canst compel no more than she entreat. That is, you can't compel me to do anything. Okay? So, Demetrius and Lysander verbally kind of fight back and forth. Lysander says, if thou say so, withdraw and prove it too. Let's step outside. Let you and I fight. Quick, come. Hermia, what are you doing, Lysander? She is now starting to realize Lysander really does love Hermia. Lysander, away, you Ethiop. Your gloss at the bottom of the page, referring to Hermia's relatively dark hair and complexion. Later on, 6 lines later, she's going to be referred to as a tawny Tartar. Okay? Not black skin. The Tartars weren't from Africa. The Tartars were from Mongolia, if I remember correctly. So darker, not a pale Caucasian skin. Away, you Ethiop, Demetrius. No, he'll seem to break loose. Take on as you would follow, but yet come not. You are a tame man. Go. Lysander then to Hermia. Hang off, thou cat, thou burr, vile thing, let loose. Hermia's holding him back so that he can't go off the stage. Or I will shake thee from me like a serpent. Ouch. I mean, we've kind of had the Garden of Eden imagery to some extent. She's already had a vision of a serpent eating at her heart. Now he calls her a serpent. Why are you grown so rude? What changes this, sweet love? Out, tawny Tartar, out. Out, loathed medicine. He's talking about the kind of medicine you take that makes you purge, that makes you vomit. Oh, hated potion hits. Do you not jest? That is, come on, I know you don't mean this. Yes, Helena says, truly, and so do you. Helena's just kind of standing off to the side, watching this. And when Hermia says that, Helena's like, yes, he's joking, and so are you. I see through all of you. Okay, so Demetrius and Lysander go back and forth. And Lysander says, although I hate her, Hermia, I'll not harm her. So, what can you do me greater harm than hate? I mean, it's like country music, pick any country music song. Rip my heart out and, stomp on that sucker. Hate me, wherefore? Oh, me, what news, my love? Am not I Hermia? Are not you Lysander? I'm as fair now as I was before. What's changed? Helena is what's changed. Lysander says, 'tis no jest, 281, that I do hate thee and love Helena. Now Hermia believes. How do we know? Look at her next line. Oh me, you juggler, you canker blossom, you thief of love. What, have you come by night and stolen my love's heart from him? If you read that sonnet 116, okay, you would know that at least according to that sonnet, even if she had come and tried to steal Lysander's love, his love wouldn't be able to turn from Hermia if it was true. Okay? So, fine in faith, Helena. Have you no modesty, no maiden shame, no touch of bashfulness? What? Will you tear impatient answers from my gentle tongue? And then Helena says something she probably shouldn't have said. 5-5, you counterfeit, you impostor, you puppet, you. Gloss down at the bottom. Dwarfish woman, in reference to Hermia's smaller stature. Okay? That's not necessarily the case. What else can a puppet be?
Someone's being controlled.
Someone's being controlled, or, well, yeah, that's good. According to Helena, she's a puppet in what sense?
Being played.
She's being played, or she's part of the play. All right? If you think of a hand being in a puppet, why so? That way goes the game. Now I perceive that she hath made compare between our statures. She hath urged her height, and with her personage, her tall personage, her height, forsooth, she hath prevailed with him. So, when you're casting Midsummer Night's Dream, Hermia needs to be short. I don't mean like 3 feet, 5 foot, 5'2". Helena needs to be 5'7", 5'8", 5'9". So that Hermia will literally, when she says these lines, have to look up to her. And are you grown so high in his esteem because I am so dwarfish and so low? How low am I, thou painted maple? Speak, how low am I? I am not yet so low, but that my nails can reach unto thine eyes. And she jumps. In the good productions I've seen, Nashville Shakespeare Festival did one a few years ago. My son was in it as, I don't remember, played one of the characters. The young lady who played Hermia literally jumped, and the gal who played Helena grabbed her and kind of, held her at the same time, and Demetrius Lysander, I can't remember which one, grabbed it and went up, kind of held her back. All the ones I've seen at the Globe, pretty much the same thing. She tries to jump, but one of the characters holds her back. She flails at Helena, but is restrained. I pray you, though you mock me, gentlemen, let her not hurt me. I was never cursed. I have no gift at all in shrewishness. What kind of animal is a shrew?
Underground.
And the little tiny one, like the size of a mouse. So puppet, mouse, dwarf. I am a right maid for my cowardice. In other words, I do not go in for fighting. I am too ladylike for that. Hermia, she's, like a backroom brawler. Let her not strike me. Because she is something lower than myself. And Hermia's like, lower again. It's like my second daughter with my eldest daughter. My second daughter is about, 5'5", 5'6". My eldest daughter, she'll literally say 5'2 1/4. That quarter-inch counts, it really matters. Whereas my eldest son, who's nearly 6 foot, she's like, why? Lower heart, Hermia, don't be bitter with me. I evermore did love you. No, she's trying to tone things down. We kept our counsels together. I told Demetrius of what your plans are. I followed him. But he hath chid me hence, chided me, threatened me to strike me, spurned me, nay, to kill me. She says, just let me go. I'll go back to Athens. It's kind of like, I'll take your place in the nunnery. You can marry them both for all I care. Hermia, get you gone. Who is it that hinders you? A foolish heart that I leave here behind. What? With Lysander? With Demetrius. And Helena should sound defeated at this point. She shouldn't be, bellowing her lines. Her head should be down. She's done. Be not afraid, she shall not harm thee, Helena. No, sir, but she shall not, though you take her part. Oh, when she is angry, she is keen and shrewd. She was a vixen when she went to school, female fox. And though she be but little, my daughter has this t-shirt, and though she be but little, she is fierce. Little again, nothing but low and little. Oh, let me come to her. And she tries to go after Helena again. Lysander, get you gone, you dwarf. You minimus, look at your gloss, diminutive creature. Think of Mike Myers' character in the bad guy in the mini-me. She's a mini-me, okay? Of hindering not grass made, you bead, you acorn. Demetrius, now stop. That's going too far. You are too officious in her behalf that scorns your services. Let her alone. Okay? You've gone too far, Lysander. Speak not, don't talk of Helena. Take not her part, for if thou didst intend never so little show of love to her, thou shalt abide it. Now she holds me not. Follow, come on, let's go, you and I, off into the wood. So, Lysander leaves, Demetrius follows him. Hermia says, everything that's happened is because of you. Helena says, I will not trust you, because, Hermia's already tried to assault her twice. So Helena leaves, and Hermia leaves. Bear in mind, throughout all of this, Puck and Oberon are on the stage. Okay? What do you think Puck should be doing while all of this is happening? Should he just be standing off to the side? Like over here, if all the action's there, should he just be over here, standing, watching? I've seen productions where that happens. I've also seen productions where, because he can't be seen, he's going up to the characters. And he just kind of every now and then, pokes one. And each time he pokes somebody, they say their lines. It's almost like he's putting these words into their mouths. I'm not saying he is. Shakespeare doesn't give us that at all. But they are on the stage. Meanwhile, what about Oberon? What's Oberon doing? My impression is Oberon ought to be kind of standing there, arms crossed, foot tapping, with a glowering face. I mean, he's not happy with this. This is thy negligence. This is all your fault, Puck. Still thou mistakest, or else commits thy knaveries willfully. Still, two meanings. Always and constantly. You're always screwing up. Or you're constantly screwing up. Or you do it intentionally. See, if he screws up, it's one thing. You can forgive somebody for screwing up. You do it intentionally, that's something else entirely. Believe me, King of Shadows, I mistook. Not intentional. Did you not tell me I should know the man by the Athenian garments he had on? And so far blameless proves my enterprise, that I have anointed an Athenian's eyes. And so far am I glad it did sort as this their jangling. What's he mean by jangling? It's noise, right? How should they be speaking? Lysander and Hermia ought to be speaking love sonnets to each other. Demetrius and Helena ought to be speaking love songs to each other. You ought to be looking deep into each other's eyes and just saying, I love you, etc. So, you see these lovers seek a place to fight. Hie, therefore, Robin, go quickly. Overcast the night. Make it get dark quickly. Okay? And lead these testy rivals so astray as one come not within another's way. Don't let them hurt each other. Like to Lysander, sometimes frame thy tongue, then stir Demetrius up with bitter wrong, and sometimes rail thou like Demetrius. And he's saying, lead them, keep them separate, but lead them all to a place until they fall asleep. Then crush this herb into Lysander's eye. It's the herb that removes or counteracts the love and idleness potion, and make his eyeballs roll, whose liquor hath this virtuous property to take from thence all error with his might. So the virtue of this juice makes him see as he should see, and make his eyeballs roll with wonted sight. Not W-A-N, but with as is usual. Why? He'll look at Hermia and want to fall down and worship her. Not literally, metaphorically, because of his love for her. When they next wake, all this derision. What's derision? It's de-thought, de-rationality. It's irrationality. It's unreason. It's illogic. All this unreason shall seem a dream and fruitless vision. Why fruitless vision?
As if nothing came of it.
Bingo. It's not going to produce anything. And back to Athens shall the lovers wend, with league whose date till death shall never end. So, Oberon's telling us, and they'll go back to Athens and what? Get married there. And that marriage, those marriages, will last until death. While I in this affair do thee employ, I'll to my queen and beg her Indian boy. And then I will her charmed eye release from monster's view, and all things shall be at peace. Okay? So, you get them to lie down, you take the love juice off Lysander's eyes, so that when he opens up, he'll see Hermia. Demetrius will still, what? Love Helena, as he did before the opening of the play. Okay. He'll go to Titania, remove the love juice from her eyes after she gives him the little Indian boy, so that she will see as she is wont to see. And so he and Puck talk about, the night and the morning coming, blah, blah, blah. All right? So we see Lysander and Demetrius and Puck leads them all to one spot. Okay? And we see Lysander lie down, falls asleep. Hermia lies down, falls asleep next to him, is not aware he's there. Demetrius lies down and falls asleep, and Helena next to him. They're all unaware. The men are unaware that the women are next to them, and vice versa. Okay? Act 4. Lovers are still asleep on stage. So Titania and her fairies come in. And Titania sleeps with Bottom, notice line 35. Sleep thou, and I will wind thee in my arms. Fairies be gone, and be always away, so that the woodbine, the sweet honeysuckle, gently entwist the female ivy, so enrange the barky fingers of the elm. What's the imagery? She's just tightly wrapped around him. Okay? Oh, how I love thee. I dote on thee. And Puck comes forward, and Oberon comes in and says, seest thou this sweet sight? Her dotage now I do begin to pity. Her dotage. It's like she's lost her mind for this thing. For meeting her of late behind the wood, sweet conceit favors for this hateful fool. I did upbraid her, and he says, I got the boy. Okay? So, and with that same dew, which sometime on the buds was wont to swell like round and orient pearls, stood now within the pretty flowerets eyes like tears that did their disgrace bewail. When I had at my pleasure taunted her, she in mild terms begged my patience. He says, I got the boy. So now, he squeezes the juice on her eyes, page 1221. Hold on a second. Okay. And says, be as thou wast wont to be. See as thou wast wont to see. Dian's bud over Cupid's flower hath such force and blessed power. Now, my Titania, wake you, my sweet queen. My Oberon, what visions have I seen? Methought I was enamored of an ass. Now, where is Bottom?
Laying next to her.
She's holding him. She probably has her legs wrapped around him too. Okay? But she's only seeing Oberon. There lies your love. And she turns and looks, and she has to go because she's startled. How came these things to pass? Oh, how mine eyes do loathe his visage now. Silence a while. In other words, shh, we're not going to talk about that. Why not? You think she's going to be happy? Her eyes now see as she is wont to see. That means how she ought to see. What did they say when they first met in the wood? Are you not my lord? Are you not my wife? Etc. Robin, take off this head. Titania, call music. So they do. Puck removes the ass's head. Now when thou wakest with thine own fool's eyes peep. Okay? So, Oberon says, 80 and following, tomorrow we'll celebrate with Duke Theseus and Hippolyta. We'll bless their wedding, and we'll have a few others probably also to bless. Okay? So, Titania says, 95 and following, tell me how it came this night that I sleeping here was found with these mortals on the ground. And he says, don't worry, we'll talk about that. Okay? Hippolyta and Theseus and their train come in. What do they see? Well, there's Demetrius and Hermia. Demetrius and Helena. There's Lysander. in Hermia. And what does Aegeus want? Oh, kill him. They ran off to here so that he could take advantage of her, etc. Okay? Theseus, 127. No doubt they rose up early to observe the rite of May, and hearing our intent, came here in grace of our solemnity. Okay? So, they wake up the four sleepers, and Theseus says, what happened? I mean, there was jealousy before, and enmity, and Lysander. I know we've got less than a minute. I shall reply amazedly. Amazedly means I'm distracted. My brain isn't working properly. Half sleep, half waking. Hermia and I came here to get married. Aegeus, that's it, you know. Demetrius, Helen told me of what they were planning. I came to follow Hermia. Line, we'll stop there. We will pick up with line 159 on Wednesday.